The Boshin War was a decisive civil conflict that unfolded in Japan between 1868 and 1869, marking the collapse of the centuries-old Tokugawa shogunate and the restoration of imperial authority under Emperor Meiji, a transition that would ultimately transform Japan into a modern state. The origins of the war lay in deep political and social tensions that had been building for decades, particularly as the shogunate struggled to maintain control in the face of growing internal dissatisfaction and increasing foreign pressure following Japan's forced opening by Western powers, especially after the arrival of Matthew Perry in 1853. Many influential domains, particularly Satsuma and CHSH, became convinced that the shogunate was incapable of defending Japan's sovereignty and began advocating for a return of power to the emperor, rallying around the slogan, Sanjei, meaning revere the emperor, expel the barbarians. Although in practice they later embraced selective westernization. The conflict formally began with the Battle of Toba-Fushimi in early 1868, where imperial forces, though not overwhelmingly larger, were better coordinated and equipped with modern rifles and artillery, giving them a significant advantage over the more traditional forces loyal to Tokugawa Yoshinobu. Their victory in this battle proved psychologically and strategically decisive, prompting several neutral or undecided domains to switch allegiance to the imperial side. Even after Yoshinobu resigned and withdrew to Edo, the fighting did not immediately cease, as many loyalists refused to accept the loss of the old order, highlighting how the war was not just a political shift, but a profound ideological struggle between tradition and modernization. Edo itself was surrendered without widespread destruction thanks to careful negotiation, and it was soon renamed Tokyo, becoming the new imperial capital, a symbolic act that underscored the birth of a new political era. However, resistance continued in northern Japan, where a coalition known as the Northern Alliance attempted to mount a unified defense against imperial expansion, but internal divisions and inferior resources undermined their efforts, leading to a series of defeats. One particularly interesting aspect of the conflict was the involvement of foreign military expertise and technology on both sides, including former French advisors who supported the shogunate, illustrating how international dynamics subtly influenced the outcome of what was essentially a domestic war. The final phase took place in Hokkaido, where remnants of the shogunate's navy, under the leadership of Inamoto Taikaki, established the short-lived Republic of Ezo, inspired partly by Western republican models, representing a last attempt to resist imperial authority and preserve elements of the old regime. This experiment in governance was ultimately crushed during the Battle of Hakodate in 1869, where imperial forces secured a decisive victory, ending the war. The aftermath of the conflict was transformative, as it directly led to the Meiji Restoration, during which Japan underwent rapid and sweeping reforms that dismantled the feudal system, abolished the privileges of the samurai class, centralized political power, and initiated industrialization and military modernization along Western lines. These changes allowed Japan, within a few decades, to emerge as a major global power. The Boshin War thus stands as a critical turning point in history, not only because it ended a long-standing political system, but because it demonstrated how a society could rapidly reinvent itself by combining internal reform movements with the selective adoption of external influences, fundamentally altering its trajectory in the modern world.